Hey, this is Joshua Zirkle from Custom Living Solutions Professional Organizing and Productivity here in San Francisco. You can find us online at www.customlivingsolutions.com, where you can download our free special report, The 7 Must-Have Productivity Systems. Today I'm going to be answering some of the questions that people in our community have emailed in or have asked me, and I'd like to share the answers with all of you. First question comes from Sunny. Sunny says, "Hey Josh, I have a friend who receives about 400 emails a day, ouch, quite a few of them being spam. He has tons of saved emails. He's so overwhelmed he can't deal with this. Do you have any suggestions for him?" Well, Sunny, that's definitely a lot of emails to receive in one day, especially if you're not running your own business that's highly dependent on email. I would say that's quite a number of emails. So we need to look for some ways to help your friend reduce some of the emails that are coming in so that he can spend his time on better things. So first I would install, if he hasn't already, a spam filter. Virtually every email program or web-based service has some sort of spam filter functionality, or you can buy a spam filter that will hook into your email system to help reduce the spam that's in there. If you're using a web-based email service like Yahoo or Gmail or Hotmail, all of them have spam filters that you can turn on or turn off. This is usually in the settings for each of those services. If you're using something like Mac Mail or Outlook Express, something along those lines, you can purchase software that hooks into those programs. It usually is an additional fee, and they vary in quality, but if you search for spam filters for each program that you use, you'll likely be able to find some. And I'd also look up reviews for each one to see which one is best for the specific email program that you're using, because they do vary in quality. One thing to note about using a spam filter is that the computer will do its best to guess what is spam and what isn't. So periodically it'll get it wrong. Most of the time hopefully it'll get it right, but once in a while it will catch messages that are not spam and put them into the spam folder. So periodically it's a good idea for you to go into the spam folder or the junk mail folder and check to make sure that the messages in there aren't ones that you actually need. So that's the first thing. Reduce the amount of mail that's coming in that's spam by installing a junk filter. The second thing would be to get off any email lists that your friend is not actually using on a regular basis. So for instance, things like coupon websites or deal sites or newsletter subscriptions. These are things that are nice to have, they can be helpful, but they can definitely take up a lot of space in the inbox, and you can't control when they come in. So until your friend needs them and has processed through the emails that he really needs to get to, I would suggest turning off any subscriptions to these things that are not essential. That should reduce another chunk of email that's coming in, the things that he doesn't really need right away. And then finally, another strategy that I would encourage your friend to do is, if he has this much email coming in, it's going to require a significant amount of his time to actually deal with it and process it. So I would start setting aside some time during his day to actually process the email that's there, maybe half-an-hour chunks a couple times a day, simply to get through the email backlog, unsubscribe from things that don't need subscriptions anymore, and send things to junk mail. So doing all of these things together, putting in junk mail filters, unsubscribing from things that aren't needed, and then setting aside specific times each day should help reduce the influx of email that's coming to your friend and make it a little bit easier for him to manage it. No magic bullet there, but taking these steps can definitely help. So thanks, Sunny, for that question. I'm sure that's one a lot of people have. Our next question comes from Wendy. Wendy says that with cloud-based services, once your info is up on these sites, can they use it to sell all of your data and information? Can they access it? Can they see how you use it? And can they sell that information to others? That leaves me uncomfortable. Wendy, thanks for the question and the comment. That's a really great point. In previous versions of our videos that we've been chatting with you on, I've mentioned some cloud-based services. I mentioned some today like Hotmail, Gmail, Hotmail, etc. These are all web-based or cloud services. And they come with pros and cons. The pros I've mentioned before, that it's easy to access your stuff from anywhere, you can get your information on any computer, your stuff is always available, no installation, no IT support, etc. Those are pros, those are great things. Downsides are, your information is by definition hosted someplace else. Someone else's server is keeping all of your emails or all of your data, whatever you're using these services for. So there's a chance that if there's an unscrupulous employee at one of these companies, or if the computers at this company gets hacked into, that your data could potentially be at risk. This is a real concern. A couple things to make you feel a little better. Most of the services out there use strong encryption for your stuff, bank level or government level security in some cases. So getting into one of these services from a hacker's perspective would be pretty challenging, and they'd have to really want to get there. That said, it's possible. As far as companies actually reading your data or the employees that are there looking at your stuff, most of the ones that I recommend, they actually don't, at the company, have access to your data because it's encrypted with your password, which only you have access to. So the data is secure. That said, there's always ways around this. So if you're concerned about your data being on someone else's server, you may not want to use cloud or web-based services because simply the possibility is there that someone could, in theory, get access to your stuff. It's not a practice that these companies do in most cases to look at customers' information. If they were looking at customer data all the time, no one would trust them and they'd go out of business. So I don't think that's a real concern. I feel safe with the companies that I've chosen, but it's really a thing that each person needs to do. It really behooves you, if you're considering any web-based or cloud services, to look at the security and the privacy policies that are posted on each company's website before you sign up. Make sure you're comfortable and confident with how they're securing your data. What are their policies around keeping it private? Who in the company has access to your stuff? And if you're not sure of what these answers are, you can usually email the company or call them so that you can get the reassurance that you need to decide whether to move forward or not. One thing that Wendy also mentioned is that some of these companies may sell your data so that they make additional revenue from whatever they're going to mine your data for, whatever information is built into the stuff that you're keeping there. Personally, I haven't seen this a lot, but it does exist. Again, this is something you discover when you look at the company's privacy policy and security policies. So going to the cloud, using web-based services can be a great thing, but it really is something that all of us need to do to make sure that we're keeping our stuff with companies that we feel confident in, who are going to keep it safe for us, and who are going to use it in ways that we feel are in line with what we want to happen with our data. But that's on us. As consumers, there's no governmental body protecting us that says, this company is safe and this one isn't. We need to do the research on our own at this point to make sure that we're comfortable with the companies that we're keeping our stuff with. So Wendy, thanks for that question and that comment. If you have a question about tech-related, productivity-related, organizing-related things, whatever they may be, email me. You can email me at joshua@customlivingsolutions.com, and I'll answer your question in an upcoming video. Until then, I look forward to seeing you online. You can visit us at www.customlivingsolutions.com, where you can sign up for your free report on the 7 must-have productivity systems.